This is Chad McMahon with Protect with Insurance. I'm here in beautiful Prescott, Arizona at the county courthouse, and I'm going to talk about whole life insurance. Whole life insurance is generally considered to be the best kind of life insurance money can buy. The number one reason is it never expires ever. You put a policy in place, it goes until you die. After you die, they send a check to your beneficiary, and it's done. And so whether that's going to be in a month or whether that's going to be in 40 years, that's when they send the check, is after death. And you, of course, are responsible for making payments throughout. If you get to a point that the whole life policy matures, and this doesn't mean that you've paid in the amount of the coverage, but it does mean that you've paid in enough to where you don't have to make payments anymore. Typically, this is significantly down the road, in the ballpark of 30, 40 years. It's a long time, typically, with these policies. If you do reach this point, though, they send you a letter. They tell you that the policy is matured. They give you the option of, depending upon the company, they give you the option of collecting those funds at that time, or just leave that out there for when you pass away, and then the beneficiary receives the check, and from that point, you never need to make another payment ever again. Now, these policies, the coverage is never going to change. If you start with a $40,000 policy, it's always going to be a $40,000 policy. If it is $150 a month, it'll always be $150 a month. So those things never change. Another benefit of a whole life policy is they accrue what's called cash value. Now, cash value is commonly misunderstood, and unfortunately, life insurance agents most of the time communicate it the wrong way, in an unethical way. A lot of times, even insurance companies will refer to it as a savings account. It is not a savings account. It is an emergency fund. The reason why I make that distinction is a savings account, you put in $100, you've got $100 in there plus interest. With this, you put in $100, it's only going to accrue depending upon the timing. There's a timeline for the investment schedule on how this works. But just to give you a rough idea, you put in $100, let's say only $10 or $20 stays in there as cash value. The rest of it goes to the insurance company because it costs them money to run a business. And that's fair. They should get the lion's share of it. They are on the hook for the full coverage amount, the death benefit amount. But it's important to understand that that cash value is an emergency fund. Down the road, if you need it, you can tap into that. But you also need to understand that if you tap into that, let's say you pull out $5,000, you have bills that you did not expect, you pull out $5,000, when you pass away and they send a check, let's say it's a $40,000 policy, they're gonna send $40,000 minus anything that you pulled out of there. So that's not your fun money to play from. But again, for emergency fund, it's an excellent resource. And so that is how I always communicate that to my clients. It's an emergency fund, it's there if you need it. But again, remember the reason why we put together a whole life policy. It's for your beneficiaries. It's so that they have these funds, whether the funds are needed for cremation or burial, whether they're needed as a financial gift, whether they're needed as income replacement, travel costs, whatever it may be, other bills that you know that are going to happen, unknown bills, whatever the reason, you know that money is going to be there for them. Life insurance, of course, we always get it for the ones we love, which makes it one of the most important kinds of insurance that's out there. So I hope that helps, understanding whole life insurance. Stay tuned to my other videos as well for other pointers here and there. Feel free to reach out to me directly with questions as well. I'm always happy to help. Again, this is Chad McMahon signing out from beautiful Prescott, talking about life insurance. Stay safe out there.